Hi folks, William Stillman, Psychic Medium, back in Gettysburg, Pennsylvania, October 5th, 2022. And before I forget, just a little something that I wish to share with everyone. This morning, as I was eating my breakfast, I was going through my email, and unsolicited, there popped up an email from a newspaper archive, and the title of the email was about researching a Civil War soldier who went missing in action, and about whom there was a mystery for his disappearance. So I thought that was an odd bit of synchronicity that I wanted to share with everybody before I forget. But I am joined once again today by Jaffa Kaufman of Spirited Events by Jaffa.com. And in addition to being a gal of a tremendous professional integrity, one of the interesting things about Jaffa is that she has some ties to Gettysburg by which she can get us onto locales and various environments that are not open to the general public. So I'm curious and intrigued about where she's going to be taking us today. And
That's right. I have some
it's never dull.
surprises again.
Yes.
That's right. I have some great surprises for you. So I think you'll enjoy them as much as we will enjoy seeing what he comes up with.
So let's go for it.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
Sweetheart.
Oh, you're such a baby.
Hi, sweetie.
That is the
Look
calmest
at
he's
you,
ever been
such a
coming out of
sweetheart. Such a sweetheart.
That's
Hello, Boomer. Come here, baby. Aren't you sweet? Aren't you sweet? Would you like to escort me through the house, huh? I'm okay with it if you are.
I love how he makes his rounds.
I'm being told there's an addition to the house, and so we're standing in what would be a newer area?
Yes.
Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, so there was a more recent or more modern times there was an addition put on that, huh?
But there's something significant about this edition.
So I want to caution you not to volunteer information that I haven't asked for, please. If you feel more comfortable, you can just say yes, no, or I don't know. But if we can go this way, that would be great. And I don't know if you folks want to go in then ahead of me. Hello.
I don't know where to be.
We're being joined by Boomer. You're going to be my escort, huh? I have to ask a question if there was any teaching or education association, to your knowledge, connected with the property or in a near vicinity where, I don't know if someone was a teacher or there was like maybe a gathering where there would have been a schoolhouse or something like that?
There may have been a schoolhouse down the road.
Nearby, within
Yes.
walking distance? And is it possible that, Brian's saying yes, and is it possible then also that someone who resided here would have been teaching, or teaching Sunday school perhaps?
Could have been.
I'm wondering about that, yeah. Okay. It's okay. It's all right, truly. I'm also wondering if there were people buried on the property
That's a
as
possibility.
well. I'm picking that up maybe around back. You want to help me out here, friend? Well, Boomer actually is very sensitive to these types of things, and I feel as though he's picked up on some of the imprints that have been left on the property as well. I'm hearing cannons going off, and I'm wondering if from here, from this property, I would have been able to hear cannon fire. Is that a possibility?
Yes.
Yes, okay.
Yeah.
Alrighty. This is beautiful. Let me keep going if I may, please. I'm seeing a lot of coins being counted or being laid out for some reason. I don't know if, I can't tell in what era I'm in. I don't know if this connects to someone who maybe did some metal detecting on the property and was finding coins or metals, or if someone who had lived here at one time collected them or was collecting money from outside of the house, like for example from the community. I don't know to what this is referring.
Definitely this house.
Yeah,
Because it
I think so.
happened
Happened at your place? No, I think it's here.
Okay.
Absolutely, yeah. Ugh.
Does that sound familiar to you, Ryan?
No.
No.
I wouldn't doubt that somebody may have metal detected here.
Okay. But I don't know if it's more recent or if it's something where I'm kind of being pulled back in time and it's someone, for example, who was for a dowry. Did someone have a daughter that was married
Yes.
here? Was she married in the house?
I don't know if she was married in the house. I know that they had daughters here.
That's what I needed to hear. So what I'm wondering is it almost
Could be.
because here's what I'm being shown. I'm being shown some coins that are being tied up in a white handkerchief.
Oh, that's interesting.
So it almost feels as though it's like a wedding gift or part of a dowry or something like that. So I'm just wondering.
That's so nice.
Yeah.
It's just nice.
And if you don't know,
Yeah.
maybe that's something we could do a little digging around and see if
Yeah,
there's anything
I can
to
tell you
that.
who was married here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I also have to ask if there's a Sarah connection to this property.
What was the daughters?
S-A-R-A-H. I know I've asked that before at other places, but I'm getting it here too as well.
Can you give me?
I have a sister, Sarah, and also my grandpa collected coins.
Oh! So Rachel is our sound gal today, and maybe I'm kind of because she's here.
That's related at all, but if it's not, I mean.
Well, that's certainly curious, but we'll see here if there's anything about this property. No? Okay. I'm being pulled to a basement if there's a basement here. And would it be possible to go there?
Sure. We have to go outside then.
Sure, thank you. I'm glad you chimed in.
Yeah, sorry, I was like.
No, I'm glad you did, because
That
then you got
sounds familiar.
a little bit of a bleed over for you. May I come in? Oh, this is kind of a narrow spot, maybe a little claustrophobic even. Huh? I have to ask if there's anyone that was wounded that would have been brought to this location. I'm seeing someone with a hit to the shoulder area, and I don't know if that's consistent with anything that you are aware of, Kendra,
Yes, in this area, definitely.
in this area.
A lot of hospital
But this
stuff.
this location
Yes.
this location specifically.
I don't know specifically who was brought here, but this is definitely an area where they would have had the wounded.
That's what I needed
For
to hear.
sure.
Thank
Yep.
you. Okay.
Yep.
I don't know that this was considered a hospital
Right.
specifically,
Right.
but I think that there may have been, what I'm being told to say, overflow
Right.
here, if that would make
For
sense.
the less
Yes,
severely
for, Yes, for
wounded.
the less
Yes.
severely wounded,
Yes.
perhaps.
Yep.
So I'm seeing a
Yes.
young fellow with a bandaged head with like a flesh wound to the head. I'm seeing someone who had a blow to the shoulder, as I said.
Mm-hmm.
I'm being told the shoulder was dislocated as a result of that. That's what I'm picking up.
Yep.
I'm also wondering if the cellar, I'm being told a fruit cellar, if the cellar would have been used to store food items.
Yeah.
I'm thinking they wouldn't have canned things in glass jars, but I'm being told yes, they would have. Is that true?
Not Civil War era, but later on.
Really?
They did can in tin, yes.
No, in glass.
Or in glass,
In
yeah.
glass jars.
Yeah.
I'm wondering about that. Okay.
Later on.
No, I'm Civil War era. So I'm wondering about that. I'm curious about that. I'm wondering also if this property specifically has had some very unusual activities going on here.
I would say yes.
I'm hearing I'm hearing some knocking noises. I'm hearing some what sounds like footsteps. So I don't know if any of this is making sense or resonating, but I also feel as though I would not want to come down to this basement by myself at night. So I don't know if that would make any sense.
Have
or
you
not,
heard
but-
stuff you've heard seen upstairs?
And I'm also being told someone has heard a woman's voice.
Yes.
Thank you. Yes. So what I want to suggest is that these are not what we would call ghosts. In other words, the discarnate soul essence of a human being that has not transitioned to the heavenly realm. But I believe that there was such an emotional imprint made on the property by the original family that from time to time, periodically, and I've commented on this out at the battlefield in various places, I think that from time to time the imprint gets released into the atmosphere, almost like playing a little video clip. So I don't think that it's a case of being haunted, for example. But it does feel as though there's some sort of mischievous energy down here, almost, Kendra, like what I felt when we went to visit you.
Basement.
We were actually talking about that on the drive here before I knew we were going to see you.
See, I actually brought it here so that
Oh.
you could see it again.
The black blob
And I'm leaving it with
that's scurrying
Brian.
across the floor. Yeah.
I'm
Remember
leaving it with you, Brian.
that? Okay. I think that we can head back upstairs.
For the females.
That's
very
what I-
early.
that's what I needed
And
to
I
hear,
know
yeah.
that like there were daughters.
Thank you. Yeah. Okay, let's
So
hold that
that's-
thought.
I love that idea of the
Interesting.
coins.
Okay.
I'm wondering about that because I was seeing a beautiful white handkerchief that had embroidered edges. Yeah, and it was tied up. So when we were standing here before, I kept feeling the presence of a female, a woman, looking out of the window upstairs. So I'm wondering if we could go upstairs, if that wouldn't be too intrusive. Sure.
You.
Please feel free to lead us.
Oh, we can.
And you're going to have to watch it on the stairs here. So quaint, so quaint. I want to ask about a couple of other names that may or may not be connected to the property. I want to ask about the name John or Jonathan. Tell me about him.
I can confirm John.
John,
A
connected
lot.
to the property.
Yes.
And I also want to ask about a Margaret, or yes, and who
Yes.
was Margaret?
Margaret was his wife.
Were
His
they the owners of the
First
property?
wife.
His first wife.
His first wife actually passed away.
Okay, so they
She was never here.
Margaret
Right. Correct.
was never here, but she's connected to John
Correct.
in that he was owner of the property.
Correct.
Okay,
She
and then
actually-
he's the father of the daughters.
Yes.
Correct? Okay. Let me see what I can get about that. So, I don't know if you have pictures of him. I'm seeing a gentleman with facial hair,
I have pictures of
a
him.
beard and mustache, or
Maybe
like,
young.
or mutton sideburns, feels like. And I'd be willing to bet there was a wedding here because I'm being shown
Yes.
the word pastor. And I don't know if that was he. If he was able to do that, officiate a wedding in some regard, or if he was a justice of the peace or something like that. But I'm wondering if he had some sort of significant standing in the community.
Yes.
That's what I'm picking up on. And so it feels as
Yes.
though, thank you. I'm just wondering about that. I'm wondering if there was a possibility of he in some way officiating or overseeing the, perhaps the legalities of it. I don't know.
That's quite
Maybe he was an
possible.
attorney or something. I don't know.
He was
But
running.
I don't want to know anything just yet, but it feels as though he was highly regarded
Yes.
in the community.
Yes.
Highly regarded.
Yes.
Well connected, knew a lot of
Yes.
people. I also have
Absolutely.
to ask if it's possible, because of his status, if there would have been an introduction made between he and the president.
Possible.
I'm wondering about that. I'm wondering because I'm seeing an introduction and a shaking of hands. I'm wondering if there would have been an opportunity for an exchange there, or for him to be introduced by his title, for example. I'm being shown the word depression connected with the environment, and I'm wondering if there was either the first wife or the second wife. Most people aren't going to know what ennui is, but it's sort of like this a wasting away, a pining. That's the sensation that I'm getting. I don't know if that makes sense to you.
It makes with the first wife.
With
yes.
the first wife, who would be
Yes, why
Margaret,
he's-
correct?
Yes.
A pining away, a
Yes.
lamenting. She may have lost a child also. I'm wondering about that.
The second wife.
Lost a child?
Oh, wait a minute. Was it the first? Actually, it may have been.
I'm betting it's the first, because I think that probably contributed to
Yes.
the longing, the loss, the depression. Yes. So are we on the floor where their bedroom would have been?
Yes.
So is it right through
Yes.
through the door here?
Yes.
Okay.
I believe that this may have all been open. There was probably that at one time this was one big open area.
And there would there have been a fireplace up here also? Or an
They
outlet for a fireplace?
Yeah, well, they later on they actually piped in a chimney into the side. You can see the little hole.
But would there have been an opening for a fireplace here?
No.
Are you sure?
Kendra, we had the chimney on the other end.
There's a chimney on the other end.
There was,
Oh, okay.
historically.
Okay. Was there a fireplace
You told me it was a
opening?
stove. You told me it was a wood burning stove.
Up on the second floor.
Yes.
That's what I needed to hear. That
But it
there would
was
have been an
like
outlet
this.
for where they're feeding it with wood. That's what I need to know.
Was there
On the
was it
second
an
floor.
open, or was it just the chimney like this that they piped the coal stove into?
No,
No,
they were feeding it with wood. I'm seeing it clearly. Yes. So I got to stand by it, and maybe you'll be able to verify that.
I actually like that. I need to bring you along with me.
This gentleman, he, I have to tell you, he, as highly regarded as he was, there's an, he's emotionally inaccessible. So to me, he feels very reserved, very calculated, very methodical, and not particularly emotionally demonstrative. He feels very guarded to me. And I feel as though, so in the marriage or marriages, it was not an equal partnership in any regard, that he was very definitely the man of the house, and the women in his life were very much subservient to him, and his word ruled. So I don't know if you have insight into his personality,
I
but
don't.
that's what I'm.
But that's interesting.
That's what I'm picking
No,
up
I don't
on.
have it.
Yes.
I don't know.
I'm also wondering if scarlet fever. I'm also wondering if one of the children became seriously ill. If you have any knowledge of that.
I know what they died of.
Okay. Was there a disease involved? So scarlet fever, I don't know if it was that or if it was something, another serious disease, but
Yes.
that's what I'm picking up
Yes.
on.
Yes.
Like diphtheria or something
Yes.
connected to that. And did someone actually die in the house?
I'm sure they did.
One of the girls?
I don't know how much you want to know.
I just need to know if that
It would have been in the house for sure.
one of the daughters is what I'm asking about. Is that possible?
I can tell you.
Okay. Well, while you're doing that, let me see if I'm getting anything else. Oh, I have to ask also if anyone hears mourning doves here on the property. I'm hearing a cooing. And I'm wondering if there are mourning doves that come by here. Do you know?
Occasionally, but not.
Not that you're really conscious of.
You're right.
One of the daughters did die.
Thank you. That's what I
Yes.
needed to know. That one of the daughters
Yes.
died in the house
Correct, yes.
of a disease.
Yes.
Thank you. That's what I
Yes.
needed to hear. Okay.
Yep.
Let's see if there's anything else I'm picking up on. So I'm wondering if when I was outside looking up at the window and I felt a female looking out at me, I'm wondering if it was she, if that was a possibility.
She would
And
have
would
been-
you show me up here, if you can recall, the window that I was speaking of? It would have been in through what would have been the master bedroom?
I think all of this would have been open.
Here, yeah. Yes, okay. Yes.
I know how old she was.
Oh, how old was she?
8.
8 years old. Oh, poor thing. Poor thing. Okay. Window, but there's the window that I was feeling that someone was curious about me looking out. It wasn't threatening in any way. It was just a curiosity or an intrigue. I'm smelling horse manure, and so I'm wondering if there were horses on the property as well.
Yeah.
And we were talking about pigs this morning driving here. I'm wondering if there were pigs here as well. And I bet you smell them too, don't you?
Confirm that 60s and 70s.
Sorry?
60s and 70s, they raised pigs.
1960s and 70s. Okay,
Yeah.
so that's a bit skewed from the Civil War era.
Yeah.
But
Later
hey,
on, they
it
did
fits. Many happy Christmases were celebrated in this house. Yes, and there is do any of the recipes that would have belonged to the woman of the house still exist, to your knowledge? This is maybe a little cliched, but I'm tasting a hot, spicy apple cider drink.
Are we still Civil War?
Yeah, that would I think would have been served at Christmas time. Everything smells good, and of course everything is decorated with pine or fir accents. I want to ask about a female connected to the property with an A name, as in Alice, for example. Also wondering if there was an elderly woman that resided here who would have been maybe in keeping with a mother-in-law or someone's grandmother. Seeing a woman with a nightcap. So something to think about beyond our time together if it's not coming to you right now.
I will go back and, yep, definitely.
And I'm being shown, so I don't know which direction town would be, but I feel as though there was a mercantile, a mercantile within near proximity. Is that a potential possibility?
You're back to the Civil War.
Yes,
again.
that's where I want to be.
Yep.
Yes, a mercantile, because I'm being shown what could be purchased at the mercantile would be hard candies. Hard, whorehound, something molasses, and lemon drops. So I'm tasting these things in my mouth. So they could.
So much.
What's that?
It makes sense.
Thank you. So those could have been obtained from the mercantile, I'm being told to say. And then around Christmas time, maybe those things were more available or more accessible. Yeah. Okay. Any thoughts on the female A name? Not as yet. I also want to ask about male P name, as in Peter. So I was asking earlier about Patrick Perkins. So I'm getting a P, male P again with a, might be Peter or P. I'll take Peters as a last name also, if that's ringing any bells.
Are we still in the Civil War
Yes,
era?
absolutely. Yep. I'm also being told to tell the current owner that your stewardship and the respect and the care that you give to this property is very much appreciated. So I wish to pass that along to the current owners of the property. It's very much appreciated, and there has been an effort to preserve the integrity and authenticity of the original structure, I'm being told to say. Is that correct?
Yes.
Thank you. That is very much appreciated. I want to pass it along to you. See if there's anything more that I'm getting. So Jonathan would have been a widower then, correct?
John, yes.
John, I want to
Yes.
call him. But I'm also being shown a divorce, which would have been extremely rare at that time.
I know. Yep.
What's the divorce?
One of the daughters.
Oh, interesting.
Yes.
Wow. One of the daughters that may have been married in the house?
Oh, wait a minute. Sorry, that's the next property.
We're jumping
I'm
ahead.
getting confused.
We're jumping ahead.
That's the other
So
one. Sorry.
I'm wondering if there was because anytime they do this, folks, this is my symbol for divorce, marital separation. So I'm wondering about a divorce connected to this property.
Maybe they're for the next property. They're prepping you.
No, they should know to do it, because that's part of my prep is we're going to do this in a very orderly fashion. We're not going to overlap. Although I might have gotten a little bit from our sound gal, Rachel, downstairs with the Sarah and the coins, or that may have just been kind of coincidental. But I think that's about all that I'm picking up here.
I can add something
Yes,
about
please.
John.
Yes, please.
He was actually a storekeeper.
Wow,
So
interesting.
that gives
The
him the
Mercantile.
prominence in the community, the candy,
He,
the...
absolutely, and he may have
Yeah.
he may have been able to bring home some stuff,
Yeah,
at
and sometimes I
cost.
think the storekeeper sometimes did serve as justices of the peace, that he may have been elected to that position because he was so well known. So
That's
there's
very
a
interesting to me.
probability that maybe,
Very interesting.
yeah.
All right. I feel next, I just want to, I think, walk around the perimeter of the house, and then I think we can wrap up and maybe do a little debriefing with any other additional details that you would like to add.
And I'll keep looking for the A name
Yes, thank you.
and the divorce. It's a cannonball.
Oh, you're kidding. Look at that.
So we're looking as,
Well, I said I heard cannon fire earlier, remember?
do you feel that that's original, or do you
Yeah.
think that was planted there?
Yeah.
Or not
No, I think it was a
placed there?
souvenir then that probably someone just placed there deliberately. No one that lived here originally would have wanted that there as a reminder of
Yeah.
what happened here.
No.
But absolutely, I think it may have been found on the property. And why was I seeing a handprint connected? That's curious. So, no, that was done in later years. We got outside and I saw the barn and I asked Kendra, is that barn original to the property? And she said yes, and I felt as though there would have been wounded men that may have been brought there. So I would like to poke my head inside the barn, if we may, and see if there's anything that we get there.
Process of restoration.
You want to make sure you stay out of the shot, Ryan. I'm wondering if grain would have been stored in the barn.
Yes,
I'm also smelling alcohol,
quite possibly.
and I'm wondering if alcohol as an antiseptic or to take the edge off the pain might have been employed in this barn. That's a possibility.
I also wonder if, as a storekeeper, if he kept alcohol, if he stored it, possibly.
I don't know. Let me just poke my head in here. So there was an expectation that the women of the house would be feeding these men also, because I'm being shown a lot of activity inside the house,
Yes.
a lot of scurrying around.
Yes.
But I will stand by what we said earlier in that I don't feel as though these injuries are fatal. It feels more like wounds that could be easily tended to, if
Right.
that would make
Yeah.
sense. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. But for whatever reason, they were brought out here.
Yep.
Yeah.
What do you think, Boomer?
I'm being told to reference a nurse, a female that would have served in the capacity of nurse to shadow someone who was the physician. And I don't think it's one of the women of the house. I think it's someone else. I don't know if you have any knowledge or information about that at all.
I wonder if it was a doctor in town that came out?
Well, that's a possibility, but there's a woman with him
Okay, yeah.
who's shadowing him and maybe trying to keep things as clean and antiseptic as possible. That's what I'm getting. Again, it doesn't, these men are in pain, they're very uncomfortable, but there's nothing here that is life-threatening. I don't even know if, there may have been some amputations done here, but very few. Very few. This just wasn't the setting for it, I don't think. Yeah.
That makes sense.
It wasn't as equipped or as well organized as some of the other places where it was pretty heavy-duty stuff in terms of amputations, operations, life-saving efforts.
Right.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm. Okay. I think that's about all I'm getting in here. Thank you. Okay. Can you get it on camera? So
Sure,
I think
sure.
it'll make it a little easier to
No.
edit into.
Okay. So I wanted to give you one piece of clarification. You mentioned earlier that the owners hear a woman's voice,
Yes.
and he confirmed to me that not only did he hear a woman's voice, she was singing Amazing Grace, humming Amazing Grace.
Oh, how interesting.
Yes, and
Very
it's not
nice.
his wife. So yeah, so that
Very
was one
interesting.
cover.
Thank you. I
Mhm.
appreciate the valid. I want to thank you for your help, sir. I want to thank you for your help and for making me feel welcome, and for being of good service, and for being a good watchdog and at policing the property. Okay? I want to thank you. It was a pleasure. Huh?
It's the old I'm